Prologue. Neat. I've been living for thousands of years. No, I'm not a wizard or a mad alchemist who discovered the elixir of life. Things are much worse. I'm, vampire. I'm a cursed creature, trapped in a body that thirsts for human blood, imprisoned in my own house, which is destined to become my tomb as well. You may ask why. That's just how it turned out. But let's start from the beginning. Before my imprisonment, I had visited many places, seen unthinkable beauties, faced horrifying creatures that instilled terror in the hearts of men, and experienced the pleasures and joys of many nations and kingdoms. And I became convinced of only one thing, that the history of this world is written by humans. Who knows? Perhaps one day, my journals will fall into their hands and I will become famous. Rereading these lines, I remembered with what enthusiasm I had begun writing my memoirs. Back then, it seemed to me that the boredom that had plagued me for hundreds of years would retreat before this new pursuit. Besides, how many stories are there written by the hands of a vampire? However, after a very short time, I realized there was, in fact, almost nothing to write about. After all, I was a prisoner in my own house, and I had no way of leaving it. These damn spells. My former servants, transformed into ghouls by sorcery, sometimes still listen to me, and even try to serve. Disgusting creatures, I must say. Mute. I will less corpses moving like shadows, and emitting such an unbearable stench that sometimes I could barely restrain myself from slaughtering them myself. But it seems they still remember, somehow, that I am their master. I don't know what they eat, but sometimes they bring me some wretched wimps or game so I can quench my thirst. Of course, it's not exactly what I desire, but it keeps me from starving to death. Such an existence is no different from imprisonment in a dungeon. At some point, it seemed little could ever change. But today, for the first time in many long years, there came a timid knock at the door of my mansion. "Please, open up!" The weather was foul. Rain poured endlessly. A furious wind howled, and hailstones sometimes slammed against the windows with a sharp cracking sound. Whoever was outside, it seemed she had gotten lost. I had no doubt that a girl was standing behind the door. A vampire's senses rarely make mistakes. They perceive what is beyond the reach of ordinary humans. There was a click, and through the narrow opening peeked the sweet, attractive face of a young maiden. Excuse me, is anyone home?" I was momentarily taken aback. To enter someone else's house so brazenly and uninvited, and in the middle of a dead forest no less. She certainly wasn't lacking in courage, or perhaps it was naivety and foolishness. Either way, I decided to take a closer look. At her feet? The girl stood on the threshold for a few more moments, hesitant to enter. Then she glanced back and flinched at the sharp clap of thunder. That was enough. Casting aside her final doubts, she quickly stepped inside. "Could you at least, wipe the mud at the rug or something? Please, someone!" Nothing but silence in response. "Seems like no one's living here." After lingering on the threshold for a moment, she timidly stepped forward. curiously examining her surroundings. Young, beautiful, wet behind the ears. At the same time, the scent of her purity and innocence drew me in, yet it also revealed what she was. Half-blood. After so many foul-smelling and scrawny peasants the ghouls had brought, this girl was a true feast. After mulling it over, I even decided to prolong the anticipation a little and reveal myself. I silently approached the door and locked it, cutting off the guest escape route. Now, you're mine, and I will savor your blood to the fullest. Stepping behind her, I adjusted my cloak and gave a soft cough to draw her attention. Young lady, didn't they teach you to not leave the door wide open when entering someone's home? The girl flinched and spun around sharply. Fear froze in her eyes. Please, forgive me. It's so dark and gloomy in here that I thought the light from outside would help me see a little. I smiled, holding the candlestick so that the shadow fell over me, masking the paleness of my skin. Who knows? Maybe she had already crossed paths with vampires. I wasn't expecting guests at all. Travelers rarely stop by here. Yes, I've heard these lands are inhospitable, but sadly, the merchant's cart I was traveling on was attacked by bandits. By mere chance, I escaped into the forest and ran for a long time without looking back, until I realized I was completely lost. I don't know what I would have done in this weather if I hadn't stumbled upon your state by chance. And that's how you ended up here? Lucky, to say the least. Not for you, though. I hid my smirk. Well then, you can stay here and rest. I assure you, no more bandits will trouble you. Really? Thank you so much for sheltering me. I don't even know how to repay you. Here, please, take this at least. The girl held out her hand with a thin purse in it, the faint clink of a few coins audible inside. It's not much, but this is everything I have right now. I held up a hand, stopping her. There's no need. Keep them for yourself. I have no need for money. She froze for a moment, as if unable to believe right away that I was actually refusing her money. Then she gently pressed the pouch to her chest and slipped it back into the folds of her clothes. Thank you. To be honest, I'd rather not part with the last of my savings. But I can't remain ungrateful either. I couldn't help but smile. Oh my god, I'm hot! Oh fuck! That's wonderful. It's rare to meet such a well-mannered person these days. Come. There is a wonderful sofa in my study, soft and wide. After such a chase, it'll feel like a royal bed to you. Rest there, while I prepare supper. You're really very kind, sir. Don't exaggerate. I just got lucky that today it wasn't trouble knocking at my door, but such a charming young lady. My words seemed to embarrass her. For a moment, she looked away, but a shy smile still appeared on her lips. I hadn't seen my own face in a very long time and had almost forgotten what I looked like, but judging by her reaction, she was pleased to hear such words from me. We entered my study, and I gestured for her to sit on the sofa. Make yourself comfortable and at home here. Well, that was fast! Thank you. The girl visibly tensed at the unfamiliar surroundings and the lavish interior, which was very different from the gloomy corridor she had seen earlier. But she remained silent, not saying anything, The exhaustion from many hours of wandering through the forest was clearly taking its toll. She sat on the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief. It was obvious she was very sleepy and was barely able to hold back her yawns. At first, I thought of leaving her to rest for a while, but the moment I looked at her snow-white neck, hunger reminded me of itself. Quiet, insistent, almost tender. It whispered that the prey had come to me of her own accord. I didn't immediately realize I was staring at her too intently and hadn't taken my eyes off her for several moments. The girl, interpreting my gaze in her own way, shyly looked away. So as not to frighten her or give myself away, I turned and walked over to the cabinet against the far wall. Are you cold? The weather is doing God knows what out there. A little. After rummaging around inside, I pulled out a dusty bottle of old wine. It had once belonged to an unfortunate merchant whom my ghouls had brought here, along with his goods. I know an excellent way to warm up. Without waiting for a reply, I filled 2 glasses and handed one to the girl. Here, have some. It's an excellent wine. Make no mistake.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, but I don't get along with alcohol at all.
I shrugged. As you wish. I won't insist. I set her glass aside and barely sipped from mine before setting it down as well. To ease the awkwardness, the girl began examining the room with exaggerated interest.
It feels very cozy here, unlike the outside, where there is only darkness and emptiness.
I nodded, as if death itself rests there in its spare time, right? She smiled faintly.
Right.
So, it wasn't always like this.
Is that so? So, everything here used to be different?
I nodded. Once, these lands were green and splendid. Elven gardens full of flowers, beautiful spreading trees and animals stood here. I noted to myself that she wasn't surprised at all that elves had once lived here, so it wasn't a secret to her. Elders and druids protected them, keeping this little land pristine and untouched. I would never have guessed. There's the first lie.
I've been told that it's better to avoid this place at all. At least our elders always said so.
That's right. This place is not known for its hospitality. Long ago, some kind of sorcery was bestowed upon these lands. The sorcery so vile, it poisoned the very earth. From that time on, everything began to change. Plants and flowers withered, water became poisoned, trees dried up, and soon, the animals left the forest as well. And over time, we were left with the place you saw outside the door. She listened in silence. It seemed she mourned the beauty that had been destroyed by magic.
What is that story? It's really gloomy outside. Doesn't seem like there were gardens at all.
I shrugged. Unfortunately, all of that is now in the past. For some reason, talking with her brought me pleasure, even delight, an almost forgotten feeling. I very rarely had the chance to speak with anyone other than myself or my books. However, an equally strong pleasure came from the burning desire to taste her blood. An inner voice demanded that I sink my teeth into the girl and drain her to the last drop. Now, come on. What are you waiting for? She doesn't expect a thing. Sink your teeth into her now! Barely controlling myself, I slowly approached her, fighting my inner resistance. The girl was absently telling me something, and only grew worried when I gently pressed a finger to her lips. Shh. Oh, no! Oh, no! Well, there's my first meal. She didn't have time to ask anything. No longer able to restrain myself, I was suddenly behind her, holding her in an iron grip as I sank my fangs into her neck. It hurts! It hurts! Get off me! You damned monster! She screamed, scratched, and struggled desperately to break free, but human strength was no match for a vampire's might. Well, I think I might have ate a bit too much. After a few moments, the struggle weakened. I could feel her life slowly leaving her body. I pulled away from her neck, released my grip, and the girl collapsed limply onto the sofa. The dress had ridden up, revealing legs no less beautiful than her snow-white neck. Even though she lay motionless, as if unconscious, her body was utterly exquisite. I gently touched her thigh, ran my fingers along it, and stopped on the inner side. The desire to drink my fill completely consumed my mind, but it also distracted me. What the fuck? Oh, she's still alive! Oh! At that very moment, the girl found strength within herself, suddenly leaped up and sank her teeth into my hand. The bite was so powerful, I felt her teeth scrape against bone. I lifted my arm and the girl dangled from it like a puppy clinging to a rag. For a moment, I even thought it'd be funny if I could spin her like a windmill and throw her out the window. I wonder how far she would fly. Oh my god! Only moments later did I realize what she had done. And the moment I did, I struck her with all my might, shattering every bone in her ribcage. The wound healed quickly, but there was no doubt that the girl had a share of my blood. Damn it. Not like this! My carelessness had ruined everything. Irritation washed over me. Vampire blood is deadly poison to humans. I tried to turn servants with it before, but it always ended the same way. They died in agony, as if being torn apart from the inside. A horrific sight, even for me. And now, the same fate awaited this fair maiden. Holy shit! You fool. I could have given you a quick, almost painless death. Now you're in for monstrous torment. For a moment, I even felt sorry for her. But the pity quickly faded once I reminded myself that she had brought this upon herself. I didn't have to wait long. Soon, her body began arching in agonizing convulsions, and a scream of wild pain tore from her throat. What have you done to me? That was cold! I didn't want to watch this. Explaining anything to her was even less appealing. I turned away, telling myself it would be all over soon. But the moans and screams continued. With every second, my irritation grew, and for a moment, I even thought about finishing her off, simply to end her suffering. Oh my god! But when I turned around, I was stunned. The girl was still writhing on the floor in violent convulsions, but she was still intact. This can't be. The girl's body began to change rapidly. Broken bones straightened with a sickening crunch. Her skin paled rapidly, and her upper fangs slowly elongated. What shocked me the most were her eyes. Their pupils were filling with a crimson glow, too similar to the one I had only seen once before. Saying I was dumbfounded doesn't even begin to describe it. Every vampire knew only the blood of an elder could turn a human. Such elders were a rarity, with just one for every secluded coven. They were protected, cared for, and not even allowed to leave their hideouts. Yet, right before my eyes, the impossible was happening. A true transformation. Dozens of questions swirled in my head. Why hasn't she died? Was it sheer force of will? The strength of a heart? Nonsense. All human bodies are the same. Even the strongest and most resilient warriors couldn't survive this. The turning finally ended. The pain must have been hellish because by the end of the process, the girl simply lost consciousness. After a moment's hesitation, I laid her on the sofa, hoping she might wake up soon. But what now? If she truly has become a vampire, perhaps I can use her to escape this hellhole. Yes, it may work. Live, my mysterious stranger. I have very big plans for you. Chapter 1. Denial. I paced nervously around the room, waiting for the girl to wake up. I didn't dare to disturb her. I knew from experience that a newly turned vampire who hadn't yet grasped what was happening was incredibly unpredictable and dangerous, even to a superior vampire. On top of that, my head was pounding as I tried to understand why she had even survived after tasting my blood. A faint groan came from the couch. The girl was slowly regaining consciousness, her eyes still closed. Knowing perfectly well what she was going through right now, I deliberately adopted a carefree tone. Calm, light, almost teasing. I needed to distract her, even if only for a moment. Well, look who's awake. The girl opened her eyes slightly, but immediately squeezed them shut again. The candlelight now seemed unbearably bright to her. I'm so sorry. I think the sofa was so comfortable that I fell asleep. How long was I asleep? Not long. I barely had time to look away. She smiled slightly. I had such a terrible dream. It was like we were sitting here and then you suddenly attacked me and bit me. Her voice trembled as she lowered her gaze to her blood-soaked clothes and noticed the bloodstains all over the floor and sofa. The girl's eyes widened in horror, and she abruptly jumped up from the sofa. So it wasn't a dream? You're a monster! I saw your face, your fangs. You wanted to kill me and exploit my vulnerability for your vile schemes. She stood right in front of me, trembling with terror and hatred. I spread my arms. I'm a vampire, darling, and I kill to eat, so spare me the lectures. When a wild beast attacks and drags off a traveler, you don't try to appeal to its conscience, do you? As for the vile schemes, guilty as charged. Your legs were so lovely. I just couldn't resist. Oh, hell no, God. If you're normal, I would have to tell you this, but I clearly don't condone what the vampire does in this game, okay? But I do understand the writer's intent for that scene. This is a vampire who has lived for thousands of years, so he don't give a shit. He's just going to take what he wants. It does not detract from how fucking weird that scene is. That is my disclaimer, and we are just gonna get back into it. But I did everything while you were unconscious, so it's as if it never happened, right? No need to talk about it. What do you mean you did everything? No!
What? What did you do?
Just as I expected, this topic perfectly well distracted her from realizing she had become a vampire's victim. Of course, fangs are one thing, but the paws of a man who dares to touch a woman are quite another. Let's just say, thanks to you, many of my fantasies became a reality, and honestly, I'd love to do it again. Her face changed color, turning green with rage.
You bastard. I hope you rot in the deepest pits of hell!
Shaking with anger, she rushed to the door. Even though I had locked it, the girl kept yanking the handle until she ripped it off. She wasn't even surprised, though not even a grown man would have had the strength for that. Realizing the hopelessness of it all, she slid down the wall to the floor, her eyes instantly welling with tears. She looked so pitiful that I actually felt a pang of guilt. Hey, I was just kidding. Nothing happened, okay? I mean, nothing involving your legs.
Let me go! I want to go home!
I shook my head. Trust me, that's the last thing you should want right now.
Why? Why couldn't you just let me go? Are you going to kill me?
I shrugged. Technically, you're already dead. I don't know if that's for the better or not, because I don't understand how you managed to turn into a vampire. However, you're a vampire now. There's no longer a place for you among humans. The moment you attack the first soul you meet, you will expose yourself. The locals here are very familiar with vampires and know exactly how to deal with them. Even if you try with all your might to control yourself, the hunger will win. And then, they'll simply kill you.
You're lying!
Try to understand. You are their enemy now. Everyone's enemy. Even your family won't accept you. The best thing right now is for you to stay here. At least, you'll be relatively safe.
No! Let me go!
What a stubborn girl. So, who in her position wouldn't be? After a swift mental tally of the pros and cons, I nodded. Well, there's no point in holding you by force. You'll run away sooner or later anyway. I'll let you go. It looked like a weight had been lifted from her shoulders, yet she still watched me warily. But remember, the sun is now deadly to you, and the thirst for human blood can drive you insane. And let's make a deal. If you learn there's no place for you beyond these doors, you'll come back and accept my help.
I don't need your help!
I frowned. Although much of my distant human life had long been erased from memory, one thing I was certain of. I had always hated being so rudely interrupted. Is that so? What if I can free you from this vampire curse? Then you still won't need my help. I'll teach you everything I know, and in the end, perhaps we can help each other. She nodded, seemingly not even listening to what I was saying. I shook my head, but the feeling that I was sending her to her doom wouldn't leave me. Pulling a key from my pocket, I unlocked the door. The storm had died down, but a cold wind immediately rushed into the house. Letting the girl leave, I only watched her go, silently praying that fate would be kind to her. She never looked back, disappearing into the darkness. That girl. I couldn't shake the thought that she wouldn't escape death at human hands, but I hoped her unique trait would save her, because she hadn't simply become a vampire. After the turning, her blood-red eyes bored into me. I'd only seen that look once before, in the eyes of the elder who turned me. A coincidence? Maybe. But after all my long years, I'd stopped believing in coincidences. Well, all I could do was wait. Several weeks had passed, though in powerless waiting they felt like years to me. Deep in the night, there was a hesitant knock at the door. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The blood bond immediately told me who was standing outside. So, she managed to survive. Excellent. Whoa, she looked so badass! But once I opened the door, I was shocked. Her clothes were torn to rags that even the poorest beggars would have thrown away in disgust. And every inch of her body was literally soaked in multiple layers of dried blood. There was no point asking what happened. I didn't know a single newly turned vampire who had managed to overcome the bloodthirst without killing anyone. Well, at least you're alive and in one piece. That's good news already. She didn't even smile in response. She was far too dejected and empty. It felt unnatural. Usually people became vampires only by their own choice, sometimes spending decades earning the favor of a coven. And why wouldn't they? Are there really so few who wouldn't be tempted by immortality and power, only to go completely wild afterward, reveling in every moment, in impunity, and in how easy it is to kill? But her case was special. Stop it. I didn't come back to listen to your jokes. I put on a serious expression. I hope you haven't forgotten the terms. Yes, I remember everything perfectly. But I have a condition too. I don't think you're in a position to bargain. This isn't a bargain. You said you'd free me from this curse. I nodded, trying not to show my embarrassment over a promise I couldn't keep. I'll help you, but afterward, you'll keep your word and let me go. I stepped aside, letting her into the mansion. The girl immediately headed to my study, stopped by the couch, and placed her hand on it. Understanding her inner turmoil, I patiently waited a few seconds. And how can someone like me help someone like you? Don't sell yourself short. You're far more important than you realize. After all, I need to get out of this place, and I can't do it without your help. She stared at me in confusion. You need me to show you the door? I smiled bitterly. It's not that simple. Ever since this mansion was cursed, I haven't been able to leave it. Why? Are you trapped here? Exactly. This house is a real cage, only one without wardens. What if you break it? I mean, destroy the mansion. Don't you have enough power for that? You really think I haven't tried? It's not just this house that's been made into a trap. Time itself is knotted inside it. No matter what happens here, everything returns to its original state by morning. I've tried everything. Smashing walls, breaking the roof, setting it on fire. All useless. As proof, I nodded towards the door handle she had ripped off during her last visit. See, no one has touched it since it was left lying on the floor. She looked thoughtfully at the handle, then shrugged. So, how can I help? I don't know anything about magic. I can't possibly free you from here. I shrugged. The curse can't be lifted from inside the house. So you want me to find a way? What if someone tries to kill me? Don't doubt it for a second. You're an enemy to the world now. But I'll teach you how to survive. How? By doing the killing myself? I nodded. I didn't make the rules. When you meet an enemy, it's either kill or be killed. She faltered, clearly not ready for this. It gets easier with time. You'll get used to it.
How can anyone get used to this? I won't survive if I kill more innocent people.
Speaking of that, you were starving. Don't blame yourself too much. Every vampire goes through this. But the thirst can be controlled. If you don't starve, it won't overwhelm you, and you'll be able to choose your targets. I'll teach you everything. First things first. What's your name?
She looked at me skeptically. I don't share my name with someone I don't trust.
Fair enough. So, it doesn't really matter. Well then, I'll call you Celine. A fine name.
What makes you think I'd agree to that?
Don't you? It's symbolic. You're now a messenger of the night who received a second life with my help. So you can call me Daddy.
I smiled. She grimaced in response. Who wouldn't? I'd rather pull my own heart out through my ear. I laughed.
That would probably look pretty entertaining. Well then, Celine, allow me to introduce myself. My name is EpyksLion von Ravenhold, but you can call me Eskel.
Eskel? I've never heard a weirder name in my life.
Your name must not be any better if you're hiding it. Alright, jokes aside, we have a lot to do here. Come here.
She tensed up as I bared my wrist and bit into it. Drops of blood appeared on my skin, and I held out my hand to her. What is this for?
This will strengthen our bond. Drink.
Disgust appeared on her face, but when I put on a stern expression, she flinched, stepped closer, and pressed her lips to the hand. As my blood flowed into her, I could see her power level and even her potential more and more clearly.
That's enough for now. The stronger you become, the more I can strengthen our bond this way. This will allow me to guide your development in the right direction. And when you're strong enough, you'll be able to sense and see everything yourself without my help. It was clear she felt awkward.
I can't wait.
I spread my arms, hiding a smirk. Well, don't get your hopes high. Training is never a quick thing.
The girl sighed. It was clear from her face that she had finally accepted her fate.
That was good.
Then, let's not waste time. Where do we begin?
I pointed to one of the doors, the bedroom. First, you should clean yourself up. There's more blood on you than in a slaughterhouse.
She looked at herself with an expression as if she had only just noticed it. And almost immediately, she looked up in disgust. I opened the door and gestured for her to go in.
I'm sure everything you need is in there. There's no need to rush. In case I haven't told you yet, from now on, your life is eternal.
I closed the door behind her and listened. My enhanced hearing gave me a detailed picture of everything happening behind the door. The sound of running water started and stopped. Celine was testing the temperature. Then came the soft clinking of bottles and jars as she looked through everything, choosing lotions and soap. And then the soft rustle of clothes being removed. I waited a little longer, listening to the splashing of water, then carefully took the handle and quietly opened the door.
Welp, I'm going to need to censor this too.
Celine was sitting in the bathtub with her back to me. Her narrow shoulders literally glowed with purity, even with drops of blood still on them. A dark desire suddenly overwhelmed me again, but this time it wasn't thirst. I pushed the unwanted thoughts away, approached her clothes, and silently gathered them all. The girl didn't notice me, either lost in thought from everything that had happened or engrossed in the array of bath oils. I could feel something like calm filling her. With smooth, gentle movements, she slowly washed the dirt and blood from her body, her face showing complete serenity. Just as quietly, without making a sound, I left the bathroom and threw all her rags out the window. As for myself, I quietly sat down at the table with a glass of wine. Finally, a piercing scream came from the bathroom. A moment later, the door nearly flew off its hinges from Celine's powerful kick. "Where is it?" I put on an innocent expression. "What?" "Don't play dumb with me. Where are my clothes?" "What clothes?" "Oh, those old rags. I threw them away." "What? So now I'm supposed to walk around here naked?" I gave her a brazen look. You know what? That's not a bad idea at all. She looked at me like she was already skinning me alive. I smiled placatingly. "Just kidding. Clothes are coming right up." I rolled up my sleeves, revealing the magical bracers. Black matte, gleaming in the candlelight. They always fascinated everyone, and Celine stared at them as if charmed. It didn't flatter me, though, because I knew they were enchanted. I lowered my hands, and dark, thick blood began to drip, then flow from the bracers. But it never reached the floor. It immediately broke apart into thousands of the finest threads. Each drop unfolded and merged with the previous one, turning into the finest fabric. The deep purple color had the same matte finish, layers of fabric twisted and overlapped, forming a dress. I secretly watched the girl, observing the amazement in her eyes. Her pretty little mouth opened in a silent gasp. She had even forgotten she was almost naked. When I finished, I deftly caught the crepe garment and handed it to her. "Here, take it." She stepped back slightly. Is it alive?" I burst out laughing. "No, this clothing is made from blood. Any holes, rents, or other imperfections will mend themselves as soon as you sprinkle them with blood." Taking the clothes, she shook her head again in disapproval. "Who even wears something like this?" I smirked. Apparently, the woman in her was stronger than the vampire. Yet at the same time, I could clearly feel that although Celine was grimacing, she actually liked the dress. She wasn't really complaining about the clothes themselves, but about having to accept them from me. Oh well. "This dress is perfect for training. Even if you tear it, it's not a big deal." "And how exactly will I be training?" "The basics at first. In time, you'll master all vampire abilities, even blood magic." "Like what you just did." "You're a long way from that, darling. Let's go." "Where?" "We'll see what you can do." I deliberately made my tone firm so Celine would keep her endless questions to herself, and stepped out of the room. There was no need to look back. I could feel her obediently following me. In silence, we approached another door. I opened it and led her down the narrow stairs. There, I lit a candle on the wall, and in sequence, the others lit themselves, illuminating the spacious basement. A long time ago, I set up a training hall here to practice my abilities. The walls were now studded with steel rings and hooks. Several targets stood against the far wall, and in the center of the basement stood a life-sized training dummy. It was made of aged oak, reinforced with steel plates where armor is usually worn. The dummy turned out very heavy, but the way it looked, quite similar to a real opponent, albeit one that remained still. But it's perfect for training since even vampire super strength can't easily pierce good armor metal, and in speed, no one can match us. Celine looked around carefully, especially at the dummy. Then she turned to me. "What now?" "This is where you'll start gaining combat experience.
Watch. I approached the dummy and struck it quickly with my claws. Few small wood chips flew into the air. The dummy swayed but stayed upright. To hit with this much force and precision takes a lot of practice. Go ahead. How did you grow those claws, and where did they go? You can't do this yet? There is nothing to it. Just imagine extending your claws. Yes, I know you've never done this before, but now your body is capable of so much more than it used to be. Just don't point them at yourself until you can control them properly, just in case. The girl held her palms out in front of her, then frowned as if trying to command them. Her sharp little claws briefly emerged, only to retract immediately. Anger alone isn't enough. To master your power, you need calm along with rage. Remember this moment of anger, and close your eyes, relax, and recall it again. She obediently repeated the process, and I watched with satisfaction as long claws extended from her fingers, thin at the tips and sharp as blades. Soon after, she retracted them. Celine kept repeating the motion, clearly enjoying her new ability, and she seemed quite pleased with it. Later, you'll learn to extend them to any length. For now, this is more than enough. Come on, let's see what you can do. I raised my chin towards the training dummy. The girl hesitantly walked up to it. Alright, keep a short distance from your opponents. A prepared opponent won't let you rely on surprise, so you'll have to depend on your speed and reflexes. Don't hesitate when attacking. Close the distance quickly, strike before they can react, then dash back just as fast if the target isn't finished. Got it? I don't know. Good. Try it yourself. I need to see how you move. The girl made a sharp dash. She could already feel her new strength. Good. Strike. God damn it, Celine! I didn't know how, but she hit far to the right of where she should have. She caught her claws on the dummy, lost her balance, and sprawled across the floor. The dummy wobbled and slowly toppled over. I couldn't hold back my laughter. Why are you laughing? I've never fought anyone in my life. Some fighter I am. As you can see, even a motionless dummy beat me. Tears of humiliation and anger welled up in her eyes. Well, don't worry. It can be fixed. I helped her up and set the dummy back in place. You just wanted to laugh at me? I shook my head. No one is born an experienced fighter. Everything comes with effort and time. So let's start with the basics. Several days passed in diligent training, interrupted only by meals and a short daytime nap. Oh! Whoa! Okay. I'm pretty sure this is still a prototype of the actual combat system, so let's try attacking. Oh, so it's on an AP system. Okay. Oh, okay, so there's crits as well. Okay. So I regain AP with every turn. Alright. Too early. Okay, I need to get it right there. Attack, single strike, boop. Okay, nice. It's double damage, holy shit. Okay, got it. So, single strike, boop. Missed. Okay, let's try that again. It regains health? What the hell? God damn it! I still need to get the timing right for this. Okay, let's see if we can do it this time. Single strike, boop! Yes! Down for the count! Celine learned quickly, picking up new techniques almost instantly, and gained more and more experience in controlling combat. Excellent. Now you can perform combo attacks. It's a series of quick strikes. Each following blow deals slightly more damage because the opponent
doesn't have time to recover their defense. So, if you get used to using them more often, you'll become a much more formidable fighter. Let's try it again. Okay. Sick. Okay, triple strike. Boop. Boop. God damn it. Okay, so... Okay, so I can recover... I'm not sure what's my AP regen for this. Boop. 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 Alright, okay. Not bad, not bad. Let's do that one more time. Ah, God, fuck. Damn it. Okay. Alright, perfect. Excellent. Use this in combat. Few can withstand a series of such strikes. Once your combat experience grows, you'll be able to learn new skills. But I don't want to fight. I sighed. I understand. But, be that as it may, you're a vampire now, girl. And that means people will often try to kill you before they even learn your name. The options are few. Either fight or die. So put that "I don't want to" somewhere far away and forget about it. No more games. You're ready to go now. She looked at me carefully. So, training is over? Her eyes, which had gotten almost cheerful over the past few days, saddened again. I nodded. This place, perhaps. But your training will never truly end, Celine. Being a vampire means constantly discovering new things about yourself. Things you never knew before. You can always find me here, and I will help you with everything in my power. I don't know if I can live like this, but I'll at least try not to harm the innocent. I continued staring out the window. You will. After all, you're here because you want to live. There were no objections in response. In the reflection of the glass, I saw her clenching her fists while staring down at the floor. Her reaction showed that her will to live was very strong, which meant she would have to compromise with her principles. It will get easier with time. I hope so. The girl nodded. Now, it's time to rest properly. You worked really hard today. You're probably barely standing. She remained silent, only nodding in reply. Either she had no strength left to answer, or she was simply tired of my teasing. Celine stood up, and without saying anything, headed to the bedroom. I stood by the window a moment longer, watching her go, then followed her inside. Going to bed already? Yeah, I feel really sleepy. This bed is so soft and comfortable. I've never slept in anything like it. I know what you mean. Sometimes it feels like after every time the house recovers, it only gets softer and more comfortable. After every restoration? Why would you break it? I've tried to smash this damn house to pieces so many times. The bed caught my wrath too, and, well... What? Spill it, since you already brought it up. Let's just say, vampire passions are quite destructive to furniture. Passions? Here. You really think you're the only stubborn beauty who got lost and ended up in my humble abode? What? Many preferred a much more entertaining way of leisure after a long journey, especially in the company of such a handsome fellow. Celine looked at me silently. Oh, God! I stood at the bedroom doorway, ready to add another witty remark, but she suddenly stepped towards the door. Her look made it perfectly clear. One more word, and I'd be the one needing rest. The door slammed shut right in front of my nose. Enjoy your rest, darling. Smirking, I stepped away from the door and returned to my desk. Once seated, I took out my journal. However, Celine's exhausting training had affected me as well. Before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. When I awoke, the weather was calm. Not even the wind howled among the trees. This is probably the best time for Celine to take a walk. Some fresh air won't hurt her. With that thought, I knocked on the bedroom door. "Wake up, sleepyhead. You'll sleep right through till dawn." Silence. "Hey, it's a beautiful night outside. Perfect time to enjoy it." No response. I pushed the door open. The room was empty. The neatly made bed made it clear the girl had been gone for a while. I couldn't sense her presence in the mansion either. It looked like Celine had woken up before me and decided to go outside on her own.
Little brat! What if she runs into someone? She doesn't even know what to do yet.
I sat down at the table and leaned over my journal. All I could do now was wait. "Oh, sick! Huh." I look at the chair. I can't do anything about the chair. I look to my right. I touch the bed. I don't touch the bed. I look to my right again. The bath. I don't think there's much I could actually interact with, but actually like the point and click segments of these games, like, I've always been in love with them. Oh. What the hell do I do now? Wait, hang on. So I could click on my desk. There are things I could click around. Wait, hang on. Is there anything I could click around here? No, okay, I know I can click on my desk, but I'll do that later. Is there anything I could touch? Is there anything I could click on in here that's of interest? Come on. What about my soaps? Anything at all? Anything? What if I went outside? Actually, I think I was supposed to head outside. I'm thinking about it. I am. What's this? The crypt. While checking the local animal trails, Celine noticed that one of them branched off from a wider path near a large tree and led into tall grass. Following the path, the girl came upon a small stone cellar. Only after seeing a half-faded inscription above the entrance did she realize it was a crypt. However, the door, despite looking flimsy, didn't budge even an inch, no matter how hard the girl pushed. Moreover, she was certain she heard faint rustling sounds coming from inside the crypt a couple times. It seemed this entrance was also sealed by some kind of magic seal, one she couldn't break yet. Curiosity made Celine examine the crypt once more. To the side of the door, beneath a layer of dirt and dust, she discovered a small hexagonal recess with a strange symbol above it. The girl had no doubt that some kind of key was needed to be inserted here. The elders back in her homeland used to lock the temple in a similar way. But for now, there was no way to get inside, so the girl continued on her way. Oh! Adventure! Ruined mill. Okay. As Celine walked through the surroundings, she caught sight of an old, ruined watermill slowly appearing nearby. It seemed strange to see it standing in the middle of a forest clearing where the stream it once stood on had long since dried up. Still, the stone frame of the building was surprisingly well preserved. I look inside. Celine still had some time, so she decided to take a quick look inside. The old crooked door opened with a terrible creak, reluctantly letting her in. There was nothing particularly interesting inside at first glance. Broken wooden beams and planks were scattered everywhere, and in one corner lay a pile of rusty metal scrap. In the center of the mill stood a simple mechanism that turned the millstones above it. Let's try to turn the wheel? Bracing herself against it, the girl strained with all her might and slowly pushed the wheel, snapping several obstructing beams in the process. I don't think I made the right choice here. The wheel turned reluctantly half a rotation, and the millstones that ground grain into flour shifted slightly towards each other. A piece of one of the stones broke off and fell to the floor. It seems even stone succumbs to the passage of time. After turning a little more, the wheel jammed completely due to the broken beams of the mechanism. It seems it will never turn again. God damn it. Okay, what if I roll it back? I can't roll it back. No, the consequences of my actions. Wait. Ah, God damn it. No. I fight. Forest clearing. Walking slowly through the blighted forest, Celine, lost in gloomy thoughts, didn't even notice when she stepped out into a small clearing. She only came to her senses when the smell of smoldering embers caught her attention. Ahead, among the trees, lay an entire camp. Several tents were set up around a campfire, and even sitting logs had been dragged close to the flames. At the same time, Celine didn't sense any people or other creatures inside the tents, yet a sense of unease still prickled her skin, as if someone was watching her every move. Noticing a traveling bag near one of the tents, Celine cautiously reached for it.
Well, aren't you curious? And what exactly do you expect to find?
A rough, mocking voice cuts through the silence. Spinning around sharply, the girl saw a short, unremarkable man rising to his full height from the ground. He was dressed quite modestly, yet leather armor covered his shoulders, and he wore light soldier's boots and gloves. The bandit's sharp gaze, for Celine had no doubt he was a bandit, studied her closely, his hand resting on the hilt of a throwing knife hanging from his leather belt. Yet, despite his threatening appearance, he posed no real danger to her. "Oh, I was just going to check how much you've stolen. These are all stolen goods, right? You probably robbed some peasant?" He bared his teeth in a vicious grin.
You think you can get a whole bag from a peasant?
Then what? Ran into a merchant? His grin widened.
Exactly. Not long ago, some merchant was passing through with a young woman. We didn't think twice. Such a tasty morsel wasn't something to pass up. We slit his throat and dumped him in a ditch for the crows. But the girl turned out to be quick and got away. I didn't get a good look at her back then, but now I'm thinking, was that you? Good thing you ran away. You wouldn't have survived our fun. But now it's just me. It's been a while since I've felt some warm tits. But I think you'll survive. Come here, sweetheart! Such rage surged through Celine that she nearly burst from within. You are right about only one thing. You are alone here. And you will die alone too. Fuck yeah, let's get our fucking revenge! Where's my triple strike? God damn it! Okay, single strike first. Fuck! Ah! I might have done goofed. Ow. Okay, wait, actually 6 is not bad. Okay. I still can't do my triple strike. Why not? Wait! I had to scroll down. Am I dumb? Boink! 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 And... I don't know if he's surviving this. I don't think he's gonna survive this. Ain't no way. Okay, attack. Let's do a single strike for now. Actually, I can do triple strike, right? Boop, boop, boop. All right. Okay, so we won't need to take too long with this. I just need to do a single strike and this is over. It's gonna be so over. All right, attack, single strike. God damn it. I guess I gotta wait. I gotta wait for this one turn. All right, single strike. Okay, finally dead. Well deserved. Dick. Mercy! I beg you! Celine shook her head. You would never have shown me mercy. Yanking his head back, the girl sank her fangs into the pulsing veins in his neck and drank until the bandit went limp and silent in her iron grip. She found nothing of interest in the bag. If the brigands had taken any loot from that poor merchant, they clearly hadn't shared it with this one. She tossed the bag aside and continued on her way. All right. Is there anywhere else I can explore?
Doesn't really look like it. Celine came back later than I had anticipated. Maybe that was why I didn't perceive her approach until she was already inside the estate. What am I supposed to make of this? Celine put on an innocent expression. What exactly? You left without saying a word. Did it not occur to you to warn me? I did not remember being held captive here. I am quite free to walk abroad without your leave. Fair enough, but I don't like that attitude. Let's not be foolish. Whether you like it or not, we now have a common goal. Foolish. I'll have to leave this house anyway to accomplish that very goal of ours. This girl. You're right. But don't forget about my experience that I can share with you. There are many dangers around here. Just let me know when you decide to go somewhere next time, okay? I didn't encounter any dangers besides you. Were you worried about me? I gave her a serious look. What if I was? The girl gave a cheeky smile. Don't do that again, alright? I need to know where you are and that you're safe. Deal. Sighing, I continued. Since you're so independent, I have a special task for you. We'll see how you handle it tomorrow, you cheeky girl.
Well, that's the end of the demo.
Anyway, that was the Blood Diary. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And yeah, this is actually a spin-off of one of my favorite games of all time, Nightly Passions, which is another eroge. I've not actually featured that on the channel because, like, I'm genuinely not sure if, like, this is the sort of games y'all actually do want me to feature on the channel. While I am bi, I have been featuring a lot of men. Just a lot of men. But, like, yeah, if this video does do well, I will be coming back to actually feature more of the game's story as it's being released in early access. If it follows like its typical release schedule, typically what they do is that they release the story in batches. And honestly, like, I can't wait to see where they're going to be taking the story. Because Feyada is a fantastic writer. I actually do enjoy their work. It's just really fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. But do let me know what you thought about this game in the comments below. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.